So I found this post on the Poke Investing subreddit that I wanted to share with you all. I have really been liking these collection videos, just looking at what people have, because honestly, it is interesting to see some people, especially this person who has been around for a while and what they have accumulated, because obviously things were very different 5, 10 years ago, and people that were investing during those times, because believe it or not, some people, not as many as now, but some people were investing into Pokemon like a decade ago, and this is just one example, and it's really interesting to see what these people have and how much they paid for these things, because you will see from this post, this person was able to get some pretty crazy things for super cheap, obviously because back then, 10 years ago, things definitely were not as crazy as they are now, because over time, people like grow up, people maybe get some nostalgia from Pokemon, maybe pass on to their kids, and you just get this growth of the hobby. So it is going to be interesting to see what this person has. So I do want to point this out because I know some of you guys are looking at this number like, how is it $500,000? Well, it's in euros. So if you actually do the conversion based on Google here, it's pretty much $500,000. I rounded up, yes, I rounded up like what, 9.5K, but it's basically $500,000. So very large collection or investment. It was sort of, both in this circumstance from what I've seen what they had. But when I see something like this, it makes my investment look very small. Now, obviously, you can't compare yourself to everybody in the world, or else you're going to be very unhappy, right? You could have a few booster boxes, and maybe for you, that's a good amount, which honestly, compared to some people only invest into booster packs. That's good, right? You can't compare yourself in this space because guess what? Everybody's in a different spot in their life, and there's nothing wrong investing more or less. Completely fine if you invest a lot or if you invest, not a large amount. But obviously, if you're investing a large amount, you want to make sure you're financially okay with doing that. But other than that, don't compare yourself to other people in this space. But it is nice and very interesting to see people who have large collections. And like I said, it makes my investment look pretty small. And I would say people would consider my investment to be relatively big. But I mean, I feel like especially in recent times, it seems like bigger money has entered the space. And there are large amounts of people compared to previous times that have like over six-figure investments. So we're going to do a little bit of a look into what this person has. I really like these videos. Hope you guys do as well. So let's just read sort of the background here and we'll look at the photos. Collecting and investing for about 11 years now. So if you haven't been investing for like 11 years, you have been here for probably longer than 99% of the people that have been investing right now. So they have probably seen some pretty insane gains and seen all the phases of the hobby. Alt account for reasons. I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, it's like $500,000. I have been collecting again since 2014. I started collecting around that time because I fell in love with Pokemon because of a local Comic Con. It started with a Delphox tin that I ripped open and noticed I can sell the packs for more than the tins are worth at the time. So I sold 3 of the packs, bought a new tin, and ripped 1 pack. I used to have this mindset back then when I used to open a lot, like, okay, if I can at least cut even, sell maybe some of the top chases, I'll keep opening. Let's just say it didn't turn out well. This is what I have kept doing until I got adult money around 2016 to 2017. So I guess they started opening stuff when they were younger, especially when with people returning to the hobby. Was that during Pokemon Go? Is my era right? Chasing their childhood memories. That's when everything started to click for me. Made moves that with a normal salary today would be almost impossible. I purchased Dragon Frontiers blisters for about 22 euros a pop, so probably around $25, which is kind of crazy, but obviously you got to think about during this time, Pokemon cards weren't as crazy as they are now. Old school tins for 20 to 40 euros each, and mostly sat on them till this day. Of course, sold a couple off to fund some other stuff in the hobby, and also sold a Fire Red Leaf Green box last year, which I bought for 800 euros back then, so probably around $1,000 back in the day to buy a car that I needed at that time. Isn't Pokemon pretty crazy that you can literally say, oh yeah, I'm going to sell this box and buy a car? Some people probably wouldn't believe it, like you bought a car with a Pokemon box, but it is possible. Honestly, I don't really know how much Fire Red Leaf Green boxes go for. I mean, if they bought it for about 1,000 and they sold it last year. I mean, the market last year obviously is not as crazy. I guess it depends when they sold it, but early last year the market wasn't crazy. But still, the market definitely, whatever the vintage stuff was still up a ton from whenever they bought it for 1,000. So I really wonder how much they sold it for. I don't know how much they go for, but I know Fire Red Leaf Green is pretty expensive. So they definitely probably were able to buy a very nice car with that money. This is my take on investing. I have always invested in what I personally liked and into people's memories. Yes, I know it's probably a lot for most people, but a lot of it was funded by selling products that shot up in value, rolling those into new products which appreciated over time. I'm now slowly going to sell most of it to buy me hopefully a nice house with a garage and keep investing into the modern era. English is not my first language, so bear with me. I mean, I was able to read everything fine. So it's like the same thing I mentioned here. It's crazy that you can say, oh, I'm going to sell a booster box and buy a car, right? But this person is talking about, selling their Pokemon stuff to buy a house. Now, doesn't that sound crazy, right? Selling Pokemon boxes, sealed product to buy a house? Some people probably would never believe it, but this person got in pretty early and they saw some pretty insane gains. So let's just see what this person actually has. So you can see here, they have about like $500,000 USD. We go here, see what they have or have paid. You can see seals. It seems like they have a lot of sealed, more than like cards and graded, right? They have 2,400 sealed. They paid 106,000 euros, and the current market value is 420,000 euros. And if you do the returns, they're up 300%. So not too bad for like 10 years. And obviously, if they had invested into maybe just booster boxes back then, percentages would probably be better. But the thing is, this person was a collector and investor, so you can't expect like, okay, all their gains to be super crazy, because guess what, if they had bought in 2014 all the black and white and XY boxes, their percentage gains would be in the thousands, right? But they bought a little bit of everything. Nothing wrong with that. They were a collector investor, but still 300% in 10 11 years really is not bad at all. Even though, in the space, you can see those gains in a year if you pick the right product. For example, 151 ETBs over the year, it's been over 300%. But obviously, it's a bit cherry picking. Of all these guys, you could say the same thing, but it's still pretty good for just collecting and investing at the same time. So here's just some of their stuff. Obviously, there's no like super close-up photos in here, so we're just gonna take a little bit of, I guess, a deep dive and try to search for some cool stuff. So here on the top, they have some Hidden Fates. Are these called Premium Collection or the Ultra Ball Collection? I don't know how much these go for. I would guess, I mean, I haven't seen Hidden Fates stuff in a while, but ETBs now are like 400 something. These probably are in the thousands, if I had to guess. They have some just Tinsy over here. I don't know what era this is. They have some Pokemon Go stuff. Yikes, Pokemon Go. They have some more Hidden Fates stuff. Are these the blisters? Were there Hidden Fates blisters, or am I wrong about that? Arceus V-Star, this is like more modern stuff. This is just mostly modern stuff. And here's like some slabs and some more stuff. They have a lot of mini tins. Oh my gosh, look at the bottom right corner. I don't know if these are opened or not. I'm guessing maybe not, because this is probably your sealed stuff. That's a lot of mini tins. Boltund V. I know Boltund V. I remember on eBay, you could have bought Boltund V boxes. I don't know if there's different variants, but I remember a Boltund V had an Evolving Skies pack in it. I remember that, and they're like $15. I remember buying one just to open up, but that was back then when Evolving Skies obviously wasn't as expensive. But I remember Boltund V having an Evolving Skies pack, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is just mostly modern stuff from what I see. Next picture, okay, just a close up of this Boltund V. You know what's interesting? Sort of, besides the topic here, you see these are, I think these are like, remember buying them, like it was like a European exclusive, at least I thought at the time, but I know, in the US now they do have some of these like blister displays. I remember I bought one of these displays on eBay. It was for Chilling Reign, and I was planning on keeping it sealed because I thought it was cool. I ended up opening it up and I pulled the Galarian Moltres out of it, and it basically covered the entire thing to open. So that was pretty cool. And I sold the card and pretty much cut even. So just besides the point, but just wanted to say that. Yeah, a lot of mini tints down here, but nothing too crazy in this photo. Next, okay, so here's more interesting stuff. We got some Fusion Strike booster boxes. You can see they definitely invested a lot into tins, collection boxes over booster boxes, which is why their gains haven't been absolutely insane, because if they mainly invest into booster boxes back in, mid 2010s, their percentage gains would be a lot higher, but they were collecting, investing. But you can see a lot of tins here. These look like Sun and Moon, maybe. I think these are Sun and Moon tins. Maybe XY. I think these are Sun and Moon. I think so. Down here, this is Hidden Fates tins. Some ETBs. They got Rebel Clash. I know that's Rebel Clash back there. Vivid, Sun Moon Base, Celebrations, Roaring Skies, big ones right here, right? The X and Y stuff. And, only if they had more. But I probably didn't know at the time that they were going to go as crazy as they are now. Ancient Origins around a 5K box. Roaring Skies, I think, is around 4 5K. Evolutions is around 2K. Fusion Strikes around 800. Base, I don't know what base is going for, to be honest. I think this is this the Charizard thing, the Chinese Charizard thing, or am I thinking of a different product? And they have some Magic. I know nothing about Magic. And yeah, they have some other cool stuff like vintage tins. They have, I think, some close-up pictures. A Rumble box. Some of these other boxes. Is this Dragons Exalted and Boundaries Cross, I believe. And same thing here. Pretty cool. And these are X and Y tins. This is Deoxys tin. I know this is X and Y. Or is it? No, it's black and white. Deoxys is black and white, I think. So here's another picture of some other stuff they have. This person has so many shelves. You can see they have some pretty good stuff here. Some Evolving Skies. This is nice to look at, right? Some Evolving Skies booster boxes. Some more modern stuff. Celebrations. Charizard UPCs. 151. Booster display. Prismatic up there. They just have a bunch of stuff. They even have some Black Bolt down here. Hidden Fates. This is the Zacian Zamazenta Premium ETB or something, whatever it's called. Some other collection, Shrouded Fable. Some booster box cases, which I don't know what those are. This, I think, is I know it's Japanese. I don't know exactly what that is. Is that V-Star Universe, whatever. Obsidian Flames. They have a good variety of stuff. They have like a little bit of everything. And this is sort of what I used to do early on, and there's nothing wrong with doing it. But definitely, if you see what I have now, I'm very selective with things I buy. Now, really, I don't like to have a ton of every single product because at this point, I am a little bit more of an investor than a collector, as you can probably tell. But early on, I was much like this, and there's nothing wrong with doing this. I mean, there's still other products other than booster boxes or ETBs you can do great on, but it's just sort of my I guess strategy and what I do. Some Blooming Waters up here, some Lego stuff. They just have a very good variety. Next, some ETB cases. Honestly, can't tell what these are. Trying to, maybe it's, I think it might be Sword and Shield something. But they have a lot of other, I guess, booster. Are these booster box cases? Or these might be something else. They look a little bit different, and they're not like the stop tapes. So I don't think these are booster box cases. These might be something else. Some Black Bolt ETBs, loose packs. They have Champion's Path, just a bunch of stuff. They have other things in the background. So here's the big stuff. These are the things that this person probably bought for dirt cheap back then. I would guess these tins, I mean, these are what? This is black and white. I think these are all black and white. These are probably at least 1,000 each. I haven't checked on prices. That's just me guessing. But if I had to guess, I'm guessing these are 1,000 each. This is black and white stuff. This is like black and white base, I believe. Here, is this level X stuff? So Diamond Pearl. So these are probably a few thousand. If I had to guess, like I haven't checked prices, but they're probably pretty crazy now. Here's some close-ups. Yeah, I mean, they said what they bought these for. What it was like? Did they mention how much they bought? Did they say $80 or something, or $20? Majestic Dawn. I don't know how much these blisters go for. Probably at least 1,000. This one, EX. I know EX Holland Phantoms is pretty expensive. Is this the set with gold stars, or am I thinking of different stuff? Honestly, my vintage knowledge isn't that great. But I think Holland Phantoms, is it the gold star Mewtwo? Am I thinking right? I don't, like I said, my vintage knowledge is not very great. But let's just read some of the comments. But they have a pretty nice collection. Honestly, these collections / investments are a lot more interesting to look at because it's not just booster boxes, right? It's a lot more interesting to look at some older products like tins. And it's in some collection boxes. It's cooler, but obviously it takes up a little more space. But let's just read some of the comments and we'll be done. Crazy collection, man. You need a bigger house to hold it all. Congrats. Yeah, so I guess maybe that's why they're buying a new house, is to maybe downsize what they have and then maybe restart the cycle again. You were able to find profit back then when Pokemon cards were not popular, which is awesome and very shrewd. I wish you luck selling some of your collection. It's going to be very hard liquidating so many items. Yeah, I mean, some of these, it's going to be hard to liquidate, but here's the thing. they were pretty smart. If they want to liquidate right now in this market, all of these products are going to be relatively easy to sell. If you go to a store, right? Obviously, if you want to ship all this stuff, it's going to take forever. But if you want to go to a store, sealed product right now, we all know you can't just go to distribution and buy. So even mini tins, they'll probably, if you break them down into loose packs, they will buy them, right? So on all these products, they could honestly sell. Obviously, they probably would get more if they sold online, but for how much they have, how many collection boxes and stuff and tins, they are probably, I would honestly try to sell in person. You can try face marketplace groups or whatever, but if you want to do a huge deal with a store, they'd probably gladly take this stuff. That'd probably be the easiest route because there's just a ton of collection boxes. One of the downsides of collection boxes, shipping them, bigger boxes, and it can get a mess. And when you have like $500,000 in sealed product mainly, having all these is going to be a little bit more difficult. But take advantage of this market, sell some stuff, especially these collection boxes, and they're trying to buy a house. So I think this is a perfect time for them. Dragon Frontiers blisters for 22 a pop is crazy to read. You have some near mint gold stars hidden in one of those packs. Yeah, it was a local marketplace back then. Okay. When I saw you most valuable is only 1% of your total, I knew you had a room of full of stuff. Have you ever thought of consolidating into less items that have the same value? Diverse portfolio. It's all Pokemon, bro. But they made a good amount of gains through just over time. I mean, they didn't like just recently buy all this stuff. That's amazing. Do you have them insured? Yes, I opened a business account and put an inventory insurance on it. You'll never know what happens. Pretty smart. I mean, if you have $500,000, it's probably at that point worth it. Well done. Post a follow up in a few years as it inevitably goes through the roof again. Well, they're looking to sell it, so we'll see. Maybe this person in a couple years, what if they post it? To forex your money and not sell is wild. Are you waiting for the next boom or something? Why sell if no need to sell? Well, if they actually read the post, he's going to slowly sell most of it to hopefully buy a house. So just want to do an overview of this collection. I like these collection videos. Hopefully you guys do too. And this one was definitely more interesting than some of the other ones where it's just some booster boxes, because it's nice to look at all this older sealed product that's like collection boxes, tins, but obviously selling it is going to be a little bit more difficult, but it's interesting to see. So that's all I want to show you guys here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.